Opportunity, and for two British drivers, John Mickle and Tick Stewart, this could represent a golden gateway to a Legends World Championship. We are in San Francisco. It's the Legends World Finals. The World Finals are arranged into three different categories: Masters for the over 40s, Semi-Pro and the Pro Division. For the UK team, we see Peter Morton running in Masters, while John Mickle and Tick Stewart run in the Pro Division, and it's an all-Scottish trio in Semi-Pros with Robin Drysdale, Ali Hunter and John Higgins taking up the challenge in that one.
Probably hit 4,000 cars this year just in the United States, and we're trying to keep the sport affordable and keep fun in it. You know, you don't go out and make your house payment or your car payment driving a legend car. It is for fun, but they're still racers and they're race car drivers, and they get that competitive spirit going in there. And but they tell their friends, and that's what it's all about. And they come out and drive them, and before you know, they buy one, and it just keeps growing and growing.
There aren't too many drivers who'll travel over 5,000 miles to race. John Mickle and Tick Stewart are two who are doing just that. And John, what is it like to travel to America to compete?
The Americans are very relaxed. They don't like the knocking and banging, the pushing, the shoving. And they've got some things coming to them. Me and Tick get out there Saturday because no prisoners. We'll be going Thursday train. I think you can see me and Tick working together in the two heats, get through to the front. And the final, hopefully we'll have one too.
This year there's about 5 or 6 or 7 very, very good pros. Tick from Great Britain has obviously won last year, and I'm looking forward to racing against him. Jimmy Adams, Dan McKeever, my teammates Don Reynolds and Matt Dillard. It will be a very, very competitive race.
We've got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of quick guys this year. I mean, Century Raceway have put a lot of their quick guys, what are in the pros and in the masters and semi-pros, have put them up into the pro division. Obviously, they want their title back again. I mean, we really did sort of, as they say, pee on their fireworks, to be honest, last year. I mean, we really done them big time, you know. I don't think this year is going to be hard for me. They're out for me. I mean, even in practice, they're like trying to run you wide and run you in, you know.
What's it going to take this year to make sure that you can bring a challenge to Tick?
Well, I put a fresh motor in, and I'm hoping it's been broken in correctly, and hopefully it's going to give me some dependable horsepower to beat Tick.
How much does it mean to you to win the thing this year?
Well, it was a heartbreaker for me personally. It's my 4th time coming out to the Nationals, and each time I've definitely contended for the win and haven't gotten it, and then last year threw it away with a motor and let you guys carry the trophy back over to England. We're out for vengeance this year.
This time last year, Dan McKeever from North Carolina in the 10 car came oh so close and was just nipped on the line when Tick lifted the title. So 12 months on, how does Dan feel about it now?
It was tough finishing second to Tick last year, letting that trophy go a long way away from home. So we're back here again, and hopefully we can, we're not worried about the championship. We're only worried about winning the race on Saturday, so we'll see how it goes.
Dan McKeever's awful fast, got a good motor, and Jimmy Adams has been running a Pro Series all year and is quite fast. And we have Ed Romney is come along real good. He's fast, and it's just going to be a knockdown drag out, there's no doubt.
And I think they're just as worried about us as what we are about them. If anything, I think they're more worried about us as what Tick done last year. And they've seen us out in practice, they've seen us run good, and end of the day, they don't want us to take the trophies home again. But they want to watch their backs because me and Tick's on it today.
Tick comes in and has a lot of attitude. He got lucky last year. We only had one pro in the class, and that was Don. His motor blew up. That shouldn't happen this year. And I pretty much think it was the fluke last year. and I don't plan on that happening again this year.
Century Racing is the largest preparer of cars on the road courses in the USA. It also fields one of the favourites for the over 40s or the Masters division, Mike Dillard. The UK will be represented by Peter Morton, and Peter shares the 32 car with Robin Drysdale, and he'll compete in the semi-pro division.
We're more concerned about the car standing up to the pace and the temperature, because I go out first and then when I come back off the track, Pete goes straight out behind me. So it's going to be testing for the car. I hope it goes well.
John Higgins did the second half of the UK Series this year and is at Sears Point to gain experience.
If we can make the top 36, I'll be more than happy. Anything in that's a bonus. And then obviously if we go home with one of those big trophies, I'll be more than happy. So.
It's one of the best experiences you could have to go away from home and race. It's just fabulous. I had a really, really good time.
One of the favourites for the semi-pro title is Century Racing's Oklahoma-based driver Dustin Bly. All the drivers get time to acclimatise to the track, but for Dan McKeever, practice finished earlier than expected.
The way I look at this, and Tick and I actually talked this morning, he actually had a little problem last year in practice and then went on to win. So I decided that we'd go ahead and put her in the tire wall. First practice, get that over with, and actually the car was working real good in second practice after thrashing pretty good. So yeah, I had a little incident. It was driver error. I'd like to blame it on the car, a little brake problem, but we got it back together. Car's in good shape, and we should. It won't be the car's fault. Let's just put it that way. We got a good shot to win it.
Well, me and Tick run together in practice, just get the feel of each other, make sure we're both quick, just making sure, checking each other out really. Luckily we're both quick enough. The rest of the cars, I think, we're on pace with them, but there's at least 10 or 15 very quick people.
Each division has 2 heats, and in the Masters, Century Racing's Mike Dillard took victories in both his 2 heats to clinch a front row slot. Peter Morton lined up in different heats to Dillard and battled to victory in the first one, having started from the last row of the grid. That gave the Northern Englishman a front row start for his second heat. Into the stadium, and Pete had a healthy lead, and then this happened. Well, he rejoined and kept the lead, while behind him, Colorado's Randy Long and Danny Williams from Nevada scrapped over second and third. Morton, though, held on for the victory. A superb performance.
The weather and the racing here suits me down on the ground. That was a bit hairy. Obviously, Robin didn't know who had the car before me. I came into the first turn, the last turn, which is turn 12. Pressed the brake and there was none there. I thought, Jesus. And then we just adapted the driving to suit. But I built up a comfortable lead and then just used the gears because the brakes were non-existent. But what a way to do it. There was no pressure on me. Super.
In the semi-pro heats, Robin Drysdale had already secured a 7th, and having sorted the brake problem on the car he was sharing with Peter Morton, headed off for his second heat. He was joined there by Ali Hunter, who himself had taken a 4th in his first heat. On lap 2, it was Bart Connor in the black 25 who led. Robin and Ali were 3rd and 4th respectively. No one could say Ali Hunter wasn't trying. Out of turn 10 on the penultimate lap, he was right on it. Bart Connor held on for the victory though, with Robin Drysdale taking an excellent 3rd and Ali thoroughly enjoying himself taking 4th.
Couple of fall-offs. Driver error, big driver error. Trying to be too ambitious, but good fun.
The car's going well. To get thrown in with the car and set it up the way we've set it up, just in a couple of hours, I think we've done well.
John Higgins went in the 4th heat, and he did well too. He'd soon fought his way through to the front and built a very healthy lead ahead of Californian Rob Lathrop. Yellow flags were out on 3 occasions, including sadly the final lap. And despite having led on 2 occasions, John had to settle for 2nd. Not bad though, for his first overseas trip. The first pro heat saw the trio from America of Jimmy Adams, Dan McKeever and Mike Samis take on Tick Stewart and John Mickle from the UK. 5 of the fastest pro drivers in the world. And it all added up to a frantic start. Into turn 2 though, it was all about to get a bit squirrely, especially for Tick Stewart. The reigning world champion caught up in an incident not of his own making in the second turn of the right-hander. He'd recover, though, to eventually finish 10th. Meanwhile, John Mickle was battling away with 77 from North Carolina, Jimmy Adams. Adams got alongside at the right-hander and swept on by. Mickle, meanwhile, was being hunted down by Dan McKeever, Adams' teammate. The Brits seemed to be lacking power in comparison to the Americans, but into the stadium section, McKeever took the opportunity to dive down the inside. Could he hang on? He kept it all in the right direction, and that was John down another place. Tick, meanwhile, was further back, grappling with appalling handling. Just look at that front left wheel. Eventually, though, he squeezed a route through. Meanwhile, Mickle had ideas of his own in the final corner. Contact with Dan McKeever, and the North Carolinian wasn't best pleased with that.
He was sort of flanking me. I think he was going to try and run down the inside as well. So I just kept myself close. Next thing I know, I'm backwards. He's on top of me, or, you know, it hit me in the right rear quarter, and you can see the fender is hit, so he hit me in the left rear quarter. He wasn't beside me. There's no way he was beside me. If he was beside me, I'd given him the room.
Dan Marcel took me on purpose, but what comes around goes around, and I got in a gap and he wanted to be there and I was there. Tough.
Tick was concerned about his lack of power, but he also explained what happened on the opening lap.
We went up the top of the hill, got a good start, and they sort of pushed me into them, like, you know, so there's nothing I could do, really. Just bent all the steering and just tried the best and got back, and I think we got past a couple, you know, so 10th will be all right. I'll be all right. I don't mind chasing. It's going to be a hard race now. They've got me work cut out.
John and Tick now have a lot of work to do. Heat 2 will be after the break, and of course, we're building up to the World Championship final. Will it be England or America? You'll have to join us to find out, won't you? See you in a moment. Sears Point in California, where we're enjoying the Legends World Championships. And in the second pro heat, John Mickle started right behind Tick Stewart, with Heat 1 winner Mike Sammis at the back, and Jimmy Adams and Dan McKeever on row 2. John picked up places through the first left-hander, and as the cars climbed the hill, Tick went around the outside of the 99 car to stay out of trouble. Dan McKeever had got a good start, he was now third. Meanwhile, John was also making light work of the 99. Down the hill they came, Tick Stewart and Jimmy Adams side by side, but there were problems for Adams. A broken rear axle sidelined one of the favourites. Tick and John worked together, Tick giving John a push up the hill. Just a bit too much, though. The Cambridge man locked up, and Tick went round the outside, the two Brits not really helping each other out. And there were still concerns about the lack of power, and when the cars returned to the pits, Tick and the boys tried to check it out.
Plugs are as white as a ghost, unless it's done a piston or something, but every time you're just on bends and that, just misfires and just won't have it, you know. So you can only assume with the different RON rating and from England to here, it's a lot better octane, a lot better fuel here. The obstacle was getting bigger, but I had a 5th and a 9th now. I mean, Jimmy's had a 2nd and a nothing, so I'll be ahead of him.
I broke the right side axle, and apparently it was actually fractured in the first heat because I felt like my clutch was slipping. What was actually happening, I was in one-wheel drive getting wheel spin. So, hey, if we get a new axle in it, she should be pretty quick.
Luckily enough, Jimmy Adams pulled out that time, so that's put him down the middle of the grid. Tick's had a bit of bad luck. Dan McKeever's the one who seems to be on a bit of a charge at the moment, and that 25, that black rocket thing, come by me like I was standing still at the end.
That was as scary a race I've had all year. There were a few guys out there who were taking very interesting lines at very interesting times, and on the last lap I came by Tick, and I think it's car number 21, the red car, and Tick got a little wide and the red car went inside, and he was holding his line. All of a sudden he saw me coming and he turned in, and I thought I had the tires. I thought I was going to eat the tires there for a while, so the pulse rate's almost down, but not quite yet.
So mixed fortunes for Carolina teammates Jimmy Adams and Dan McKeever. Axle problems for Adams, but the win for Dan. And in the other pro heats, 2 victories for Matt Dillard put him on the front row for the final.
Yeah, I'm starting on pole, and Mike Sammis is starting right next to me. Should have a lot of fun.
In the semi-pro division, Dustin Bly in 76 started from pole after his 2 heat wins. John Higgins in 5 UK was on the inside of row 3, with Ali Hunter on row 6 and Robin Drysdale on row 8. A massive 42-car field took to the green flag, and as they screamed into turn 12 at the end of lap 1, John was up to 3rd behind Bly, and 2nd place Craig Lewis. Yellow flags were thrown following an incident involving Craig Kaiser, but on the restart, John would get a flyer. At the end of lap 4, Higgins had the lead, but Dustin Bly wasn't going to give ground. After another caution, Bly was now ahead as the field came to the line for the restart. Dustin was still leading and under pressure from John as this time the red flags were hung out and the race stopped. A 6-car pile-up at turn 8A was the reason for the stoppage. Sadly, Ali Hunter was involved, the front end of his brand new car destroyed. As a precaution, medics prepared Ali for the trip to hospital and a checkup, as he'd been hit by 5 other cars travelling at over 100 miles an hour. Robin Drysdale was also forced to retire. At the restart after the stoppage, Dustin got the pedal down as John chased hard. But sadly, it wasn't to be. Into the final corner, and Bly headed for the checkered flag. But for John Higgins, what a result. His first ever trip to the World Finals, and 2nd place was deservedly his. A quite brilliant performance. The Masters final saw double heat winner Michael Dillard on pole. The UK's double heat winner Pete Morton should have been alongside him at the start, but unfortunately his shared car had been involved in that incident in the semi-pro race. So Pete started out of position, but by the end of lap 2 of 12 he was already up to 7th place in what was clearly an ill-handling car. After a caution period and restart, Peter had muscled his car up to a brilliant 4th and went for 3rd place. But next time through, with Dillard still leading, Pete had gone missing after an incident on the far side of the track. That had dropped him down to the back of the field, but over the remaining laps he battled back to ultimately finish in 13th spot. The Masters champion was Century Racing's Mike Dillard. Mike's son, 20-year-old Matt, started on pole position with his teammate Mike Samis alongside in 25 for the pro final. Following his win in the 2nd heat, Dan McKeever was on row 2 with his Carolina buddy Jimmy Adams in 77, complete with new rear axle, way back in 15th slot. For the UK, John Mickle was on the inside of row 3, while Tick Stewart, the defending world champion, started 13th. Would it prove lucky? Don Reynolds, another with a strong chance, would start in 10th place. The start would again be crucial. As the flags flew green, both Mike Samis and Matt Dillard on the front row got cracking starts, as did John Mickle for the UK. Jimmy Adams went side by side with Darrell Crentz Jr. but had to tuck in behind the man from Nevada. Tick Stewart went up the hill, but briefly moved to the left, just in time. Into the stadium section, and everyone was looking for a bit of tarmac on which to ply their trade. Sadly, it didn't work out for 2 of them, both Jay Sant and Kyle Busch being put into spins. Meanwhile, Mickle was being threatened and then passed by Jimmy Adams. Adams really on it. Matt Dillard now led with Mike Samis 2nd and Dan McKeever 3rd. UK's John Mickle was down in 7th place, but pushing hard. He seemed to be lacking engine power. Dillard still led, Samis was now 2nd, and Jimmy Adams had moved into a brilliant 3rd place. Don Reynolds was on the move too. The hopes of retaining the world title were dashed for Tick Stewart. He retired with engine problems. John Mickle, though, was still very much in the hunt, especially as Jimmy Adams and Matt Dillard tangled in the carousel while chasing for the lead. Dillard wasn't happy and then pushed a bit too hard at the hairpin. Clearly, the 20-year-old was very, very frustrated. Next time through, Mike Samis had Don Reynolds squealing all behind him. The experienced veteran just holding on. Dan McKeever was now 3rd as Jimmy Adams ran wide, but Adams just held on to his 4th spot. It was all change again next time through. Adams locking up behind Dan McKeever. This time it was Reynolds who ran wide. The World Final absolutely living up to expectations. John Mickle had now dropped back off the pack. He'd lost oil pressure, but was hanging on brilliantly. Into the stadium again, this time Black 25 Mike Samis ran wide, and Dan McKeever, who'd been second last year, had the lead. When they reappeared next time round, it was Adams now leading. These leading 4 drivers swapping and changing as they came to the line for the white flag and the signature for the last lap. The World Final had lived up to all expectations, but who would take the title? Adams led into the final hairpin. McKeever, though, desperately wanted victory, while the 2 Century teammates squabbled over the final spot on the podium. Dan McKeever would be second again. The world champion was Jimmy Adams. And what of UK hopes? Well, John Mickle, taking 5th world.
We got away with him at the start, and I was keeping with him. And then the old motor, I think she's worn, she's had enough. She wanted to go back home, and it's lighter now because I don't think there's no oil left in it.
Yeah, that was a great race. We've been expecting a race like that for quite a few years, and it just never shaped up because of attrition and breakage and stuff like this.
I didn't leave anything on the table. I had second place was what I ran, that's how. I mean, I had a chance at it, and that's all I wanted. I told you before, I just wanted a shot at it, and I had a shot at it. Led a couple laps. Brakes didn't go my way. I think Jimmy had a better car and drove better. I shouldn't say just his car, but he was the fastest guy today. Absolutely.
I kept locking up the rear brakes, but other than that, the car was fast. I just pushed as hard as I could, and I felt like I was the fastest guy, so I feel like I earned it.
I'm just glad that he's took the title, Jimmy. I mean, it's good guy, you know, good looks, bunch of lads, but we'll be back next year. I'm coming back again, but I think we're going to have American motor this time.
And he was killing me off the starts, and I'd get him on the back side of the course. So we kept swapping back and forth, and then, I thought to myself, got to get a good start this time, or he's going to win it.
I just knew I couldn't hold him back. He was so quick through the carousel and up and down around the back. There was no danger, but I am so delighted for second place, mate, I'll tell you. I am over the moon.
And the crowd were over the moon too to see Ali Hunter back from hospital. So the sun's gone down here in California, and Jimmy Adams is the 2000 Pro Division World Champion. And that wraps things up from us, from me and all the team. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again, we think, back here in San Francisco next year.
And in next week's show, it's big jumps all round, from Earl's Court to London and the surf in South Africa, plus the touring cars in China.